Welcome back to the Positive Gains podcast. Today, my special guest is Carolyn Watkins. Miss Carolyn is an author. She's also an ex school teacher who has her master's in education, right?
Mhm.
So many accolades already. Two books, right?
Three.
Three. Thank you for joining us today. And if you would give me just a brief rundown of your background.
Okay. Well, first off, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being here. I am Carolyn Watkins. I write children's books. I started out in education, teaching first and third grade, then getting into special education. And after having my third child, went back to the classroom. For 35 years, I had taught. I sold real estate for 12 years, and now I am a full time children's author. I have a new release coming out. It's with the illustrator, and it will be a sequel to my second title, I Don't Want to Move. My first book is The Knock, a collection of childhood memories. And it was me reflecting on past experiences with my father as a Vietnam vet and the transitions that we went through. So there are
Mhm.
two levels. Level one is for 6 to 8, and level two is for 9 to 12. The website offers free teacher manuals for each level, right?
I'm always curious to hear about, not just the thought process, but almost the writing process as well.
I am part of a writers group. It's Little Labradoodles um, company, and April offers vendors that have all been vetted, and we go through the process. She is our teacher. She helps us with the writing process.
Mm.
Um, we go and upload on Amazon together, and we do Ingram Sparks. And she is, the program has taught us all of the ins and outs of getting the books out there. It's not so much about selling the books as promoting the message of the books.
Now, like promoting the message, and you have the two different levels for the readers, right? Do you feel like it's hard for some of the kids to grasp what you're trying to accomplish, or have you felt like it's been kind of an easier transition? Because this day and age, a lot of kids aren't wanting to read, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, and audiobooks are the way to go, and that's something I need to work on. The knock, ages 6 to 8, has less detail. Level two is a lot more history, a lot more connections. It has higher thinking skills. The kids tend to like that book more than level one, but kids who want to have that kind of focused conversation enjoy the books. My books are intended to help parents um, have focused conversations so they can all um, discuss those feelings together.
So it's almost like an avenue or an outlet, for
Yes, exactly. It's a kind or a resource to
right,
help. It can be used in the classroom. It could be used um, homeschooling.
right.
Any of those things. When I put my books together, I try to think of better practices. So all those skills are in the books, and I'm very proud of the quality. The knock, this is the revision. The first one, um, I went to a publishing company and they kind of misled me. The book did not do well. I understand why. It had a terrible cover. And that can happen. So that was a tough learning experience, but I will not give up because I think I have a message
Right.
that parents need, especially these days. Families need help. We have a busy, noisy world, and we sometimes we need to sit down and focus and slow the pace a little bit and put arms around each other and talk. And that's what the books try to do.
And I think before it used to be a norm that parents would read, maybe at night, or kids used to really get excited about going to the library. And now that, the phones are active and the audiobooks, the tablets, it seems like it's a lost art. But I remember that was one of my favorite things is having my mom read to me at night. It was like a nightly routine. And if you ask
What a
around,
nice memory.
right.
Mike, what a nice memory you have. And starting that memory young
Hmm.
will help kids read
Right.
more.
So
And
yeah, I think it's a lost art. But yeah, I'm glad you touched on the highs and the lows because I don't think a lot of people see it, and myself included. I didn't understand um, exactly how to do things. So for you guys to have the resource there to help walk people through it is fantastic because it can be overwhelming at times, especially during the revision and you're waiting and you're waiting. Um,
exactly.
so it's
And very
definitely
expensive.
very, yes, that's another thing. And yeah, as far as the cover, when you were saying that, um, you felt like the cover didn't meet up to its standards, and I see that now because the eye is what catches everything. So
Exactly.
if it looks like it might be interesting, then that's when people will pick it up based off the cover alone. So yeah, I mean, I could rant all day on different things like that because um, books are interesting, and you don't think about that as a kid. You just grab it, but as an adult, when you're trying to push it out there, it's a whole new world.
Studies have shown that kids who read at home do much better in school.
I agree. And then another side story, I my own little journey of reading. My mom used to make me do an essay every summer on a some kind of a chapter book, right? And then so she would grade it. She would grade it at the beginning of the summer, and depending on what I got or what she graded it as was going to dictate how my summer went. So at the time, you start thinking, well, I don't want to read. I don't want to read. I'm being forced. But now I understand that reading that she made me do helped me so much in high school. I mean, in middle school, my reading was superb, right? It was light years beyond some, and that's all it was just her forcing me. And as a child, you don't see that, but as you get older, you learn to appreciate it. So,
It's nice. You were one of the fortunate ones who had that. Yeah,
mhm,
you had a good mom.
I did. So what's next for you? I know you mentioned I believe the sequel, right, coming
I
out.
have a sequel coming up. I can write a story in 2 days. It's amazing, but coming up with the title is really hard for me.
Right.
So I've been working on it. I think we're going to go with tomorrow's Trailblazer,
Okay.
a story of change and growth. And basically, it's Charlotte. Charlotte's my main character. She is, let me see, here's a picture of this. This will show you Charlotte. She's a ginger. Charlotte is it finds out that mom is going to go back to school, and she's kind of like, what's going to happen to me? You've always been here, you've always baked cookies for me. And she has to get used to that transition. So she's going to have some experiences where she learns that, yes, this is okay, we can adjust, and it will be good, and I will be proud of my mom for
Right.
going back to school. So that's the gist of that one. I have a new website up. Anyone is welcome to look at that. It's carolynwatkinsbooks.com, and it has a completely new look. I love it. It was a lot of work.
I saw it this morning. It looked very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Very
Yeah, did
nice.
you like the colors?
I did. It was very bright. That's what popped off right away. I was like, wow, a lot of color on the page. Okay.
Happy, right?
Very,
It's
very happy, very
be
bright, vibrant.
happy. Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that.
And so, when we put this out, that's where you can purchase the books. I also saw that you have a plush figure on there.
Yes, I do. There is a little Charlotte plushie. The plushie is not on Amazon. It is sold directly through me. So it's a little fun doll. I don't know why. I when the first illustrator came around and made Charlotte, I just fell in love with her with the red hair. I just thought a spirited girl,
Right.
right? She's going to turn things around. She's going to look at a situation and say, what can I do to fix it?
And I know the feedback has been pretty good,
Yeah.
because you've I saw that you're an award-winning author.
Hmm.
So if you could, talk a little bit about that.
The knock, level one went into Chanticleer, and it's Chanticleer International Awards. When I went through that the first time, it won honorary awards, and it was kind of like a secondary place. And I got a little feedback that, if you kick it up a couple notches and re enter as a middle school book, that's where level two came in. That's when things really changed. Got first place in everything, historical fiction, non-fiction book, and it just, the list goes on and on. The one that I really was proud of, and I still am, is the U.S. Books of Reviews. It
Hmm.
was recommended,
Wow.
and apparently that's a hard one um, to achieve. So those books have done quite well. I Don't Want to Move is a Mom's Gold Choice Award winner.
But I mean, it's always great to hear, and then to be proud and excited about something. But it's also great when other people can acknowledge that, the hard work that was put in, and the stories behind
Exactly.
it.
It's an affirmation of what you're doing. So
Yeah, and you need it. A lot of people say, "I don't need that." You do at times.
you
It's
do.
human nature,
It keeps you going. It makes you write the next book.
right? How about before I ask you about the advice, because you said you could write a story in 2 days. So I'm just curious, do you have a set amount of books that you're trying to put out, or is it just as they come to you?
Um, I don't have per se a schedule. I made a commitment to myself, kind of my New Year's resolution. I was going to get 3 done this year.
Wow.
Don't know. I mean, I have the sequel at the Illustrator. I'm waiting for that. Once that gets through illustrations, um, the rest will happen fairly quickly. Formatting. I mean, April's team is phenomenal with that. and there will be a number of eyes looking at it in case I miss something, which is the beauty of a program. I have written another book. It's I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. It's a grandmother looking at her son when her son becomes a father and recognizing the relationship and the bond and how proud she is of him. So it would be a really nice gift book for a mother to give to a son on Father's Day. Um, I might flip it and do a first time mom, and having her father reflect on her. But I'm always looking for writing ideas. I've had a couple people to try to come up with a children's story for bereavement because that's been an issue.
Wow.
Um, and, you know, just an adoption. Adoption is a big thing.
Absolutely. That's actually the one I'm working on right now.
As a children's book?
Yeah, as a children's book. So it's interesting that you mentioned that because I was talking to some other people that were authors and they mentioned the same thing that on bereavement. Um, there's a lot of things that I guess as adults handle, but when it affects a child, there wasn't a lot of dialogue, towards the children. So, yeah, things like that are very interesting to me to help, bridge the gap.
I
Um,
think as parents, we get so busy that we forget to slow down and to
mhm.
have those conversations. It's those conversations that are healing and that help kids find the words to express their emotions. Because no matter what age, they have the same feelings. They just don't know how to express them in a positive way. So I'm trying to take topics that are everyday topics. I mean, they're not unicorns and rainbows, but they're everyday life skills,
Right.
and trying to present them in a positive way so parents have the ability to sit down, read the book, and say, Johnny, what do you think? What do you think she's trying to say?
Mhm. That's part of healing.
Exactly.
Um, and what about some advice would you, and this could be both sides, for an author or an aspiring author, somebody that would love to write, they don't know where to start. And with yourself being an educator, you probably saw a lot of different things um, in and outside of the school system. So, what advice would you give to parents as well?
As an author, try to find a writing group. Try to find a writing group that gives you ideas of the process, the best way to go about it, um, and really accept investing in yourself
Mm.
because it will take a while to turn your hobby into a career.
Right.
That doesn't happen overnight. Very few authors do that. But
Hmm.
you have to be willing to make that commitment to the process. My first book was a disaster. I redid it and it's doing well. Um, and I just think it's just going to get better and better for me.
Hmm.
I, I'm going to think positive.
You have to.
Exactly. Um, for parents, Slow down, take the time to cuddle together, read a book, because those 10, 15 minutes will improve your child and your family bond much more than those 10 or 15 minutes. You'll get so much out of it. You'll get a happiness in the family. And then when future things come up, your child will know how to deal with it. They'll learn some coping mechanisms. And that's what as parents, that's our job, to prepare our kids for the future, to be able to handle the highs and lows. I always say my parents gave me the confidence to be able to do this writing because I've always wanted to. I just took detours before I got to it.
Sometimes it takes a little longer, a different road to travel.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is great advice. I really hope people tune into that because again, with your stories, you're doing a lot with starting the conversation with the books, and then that will teach parents and, like you said, the kids to cope, and in a sense, it'll help break generational cycles or curses. You know what I mean? Because now the
Yeah,
dialogue is.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And where are you at on social media in case people are trying to find you?
I am on Facebook, Carolyn Watkins Books. I am also on Instagram as well as Pinterest.
Oh, Pinterest.
Okay. And you can go to the website, carolynwatkinsbooks.com. The books
Okay.
are available on Amazon or you can buy them directly. Either way, whatever you're
Either,
comfortable with.
either way, they'll get it now.
Yeah, either way. They'll get a sign. Well, Amazon won't be signed, but directly will be.
Okay. And I'm sorry, the last thing that I did see this morning on there was you were actually going to schools and doing book signings and
Yeah,
I'm assuming readings and things like that, right?
yeah,
You're still doing that?
absolutely. I love it. That's the best part of the job because the kids get so excited and ask these wonderful questions, and it just it I love it. Brings a smile to my face every time I do one.
I remember I used to get real excited when they would bring outside people in or have
Right,
somebody read a story. So
right.
hats off to you for that. But I won't hold you. I appreciate you coming and being a guest on the show. I hope that all your future endeavors work out for you. I'll have to get a couple copies of the books.
Thank
You
you.
know, I've got to read them. So, yeah, thank you again, and enjoyed having you on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.